Hello scrappers! In this video I will show you how to remove silver from silver plated objects like this spoon. And what is important, I will do it without using strong acids or some dangerous chemical processes. I will use reverse electroplating to strip the silver from these silver plated spoons. One of them is already in the cell and the other is here just for example. So you have it as a reference. I already prepared the electrolytic cell, so you can see how it looks like. From one side we have this power supply. This power supply is a laboratory power supply that is working with quite wide range of voltages. For this reaction we will carry it at 1.85 volts. Let me start the reaction and you can see 1.85 volts here. At this voltage, you remove the silver in quite clean way, not messing up with other metals, and you need a very small additional cleaning of the silver to go to 3/9 after the reaction ends. What else we have? You see, when I started, it went to 1.85 volts, it will be constant, and here below are the amps. So we started at 1.80 amps. 0.180 amps. Okay, but how to improve the reaction and how to make it quicker, because reverse electroplating in general is a slow process. We can make it quicker working with the cell here. In this cell we have distilled water in which are dissolved sodium sulfate at about 60 grams of sodium sulfate dissolved in 1 liter of distilled water. This is our electrolyte. How to increase the reaction speed? Look now, this is the spoon inside. You see the bubbles? This shows that the reaction is progressing slowly. If I move this spoon closer to the second electrode, to this minus, so the spoon is plus and this huge electrode is minus. The spoon is silver plated and this electrode is stainless steel. So I move the silver plated spoon closer to the stainless steel electrode and you see the amps, they jumped with 0.1. So we start with 0.17 and the closer we go, we even reach 300 milliamps. This almost doubles the reaction speed. What else can we do? We can a little bit stir the solution. So we keep it closer and we start stirring. And you see the reaction goes faster and faster. So now it's constantly above 300 milliamps. What is other option to increase the speed? To warm a little bit the solution. So if you warm the solution, if you keep the two electrodes close to each other without touching each other, and if you stir, or maybe you can even bubble, if you don't have this magnetic stirrer, you can use, for example, aquarium pump, and you just make it bubble inside. So this is what happens sometimes. If you touch it, it goes wild, and then it's back to normal. So these are the options. You can heat it a little bit without boiling. You can keep the two electrodes close to each other, and you can still stir the solution. That's how the reaction goes faster. So you saw we started at 0.170. Now we work almost at double speed, just because we keep the electrodes closer and we stir the solution. Let's go back, let's stop it, let's put it aside, and you see immediately how the amps go down to 0.200. Let's start stirring. Just starting the stirring, you see how it goes up a little, but then the closer you put the electrodes to each other, the better. That's the optimal way to carry this reaction. It's not super fast, but if you have huge number of spoons or other silver plated objects, you can use bigger setup. Instead of this stainless steel electrode, you can use a stainless steel container. Inside this container, you can put a basket full of spoons or other silver-plated objects. And that's how you can process kilograms of silver-plated objects, not a single spoon as I'm doing here. But I do this only for demonstration. I'm not trying to show you how to process tons of silver scrap. It just demonstrates the method. Okay, so what I will do now, I will keep this silver spoon inside. It's almost visible now, the difference in the color, how the silver started stripping from the spoon. But I'll put it like this, and when the silver is fully stripped, I'll show you the result and we'll compare to the second spoon. Let's leave it and let's see the final result. Okay guys, 1 hour later, let's check what happened. First, I will turn off the power supply, I will stop the magnetic stirrer, and let's check this spoon. Here it is. I use this paper just to dry it, and never throw these papers away, because what you see on top, this is silver, so they can be also processed. Look at this difference. Here we have this yellowish base metal, and here we have the silver plated part. So you see the silver is removed, and here is one of the biggest advantages of this method. You don't destroy the object. As you can see, this spoon can be used, or this spoon can be sold as scrap metal. You don't destroy the base metal. You only remove the silver. This is a huge advantage. You get some extra money when you strip the silver without touching the base metal. Okay, where is the silver? Let me put these 2 spoons here so they can stay and you can see the difference. Silver is on top of the electrode, on top of this stainless steel electrode. You see how the silver is falling down? This is our silver. And you can use a toothbrush or other type of brush, and you can brush this electrode and remove the silver from top. Let me show you, maybe it will be visible on the camera, how you can remove this silver. Color difference is visible, I hope. So now I will take a toothbrush, remove all this silver, and I'll show you at the bottom of the beaker our result. And we'll discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this method. Give me 1 minute to clear this electrode from the silver. Okay, our silver is in the beaker, and now we have to wait some time, gravity, to drop the silver particles to the bottom, and then I'll show you the final result. Okay, scrappers, that's the result. Not sure if you can see on the bottom, but we have silver that looks like a silver dust, and we recover this silver from this part of the spoon. Maybe 2 grams of silver we have on the bottom. Let's summarize. What are the advantages and disadvantages that I see in this method? Advantages. First and most important, we have no aggressive chemicals, no acids. So you have sodium sulfide, chemical that is used in the food processing industry. Don't drink it, please, but this will not harm you in a way in which sulfuric or nitric acids can harm you. You can do it at home on the table. There's no smell, there is nothing that can really affect you. It's very effective method. You can see you completely remove the silver from this spoon if you compare both of them. So works perfectly. Another big advantage is that you remove only the silver plating, but you keep the base metal, so you can use or sell the detail. In other methods, you dissolve the whole object. Another advantage, it's very cheap. You basically use small amount of chemical, 60 grams per liter of sodium sulfide. You use electricity that is neglectable as a cost, a couple of cents, and you have silver recovered. Okay, but what is the biggest disadvantage of this method? It's the speed. If you want to sit as I did today for this demonstrational video and one by one remove silver from your spoons and stuff, this is meaningless. It's total waste of time. If you have a single object and you want to do it, it's perfect. If you want to do it with tens of kilograms, you just can use the same method but scale. Use huge stainless steel box or container, connect the miners to it, and you can put inside a basket. You can fill the basket with all these plated objects and just forget it in the basement or somewhere for a couple of days. And you get your silver stripped without, you have just to go from time to time and have a look. Nothing has to be done from you. It can work in the night, in the day, all the time when you are not around. It's simply stripping silver. So it's very good method, but you have to use it wisely. This was everything from me for today. Thanks for watching, keep scrapping, and don't forget to recover your precious metals at the end. That's the whole point of scrapping. Bye!